Welcome to Why Can Not Yet. Take two. Grab your favorite alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverage. Do not drink and drive. Sit back and relax and enjoy the latest episode of Why Complain When You Can Whine. Everything in this podcast is for psychoeducational and entertainment purposes only. Welcome to Why Complain When You Can Whine, making sense of the senseless. Join us as we attempt to make sense of toxic nonsense while drinking wine. Although this morning, it is morning, so no wine this morning. I am Dr. Jody Larman, licensed clinical psychologist in the state of California. And I have to say that because it's more for myself that, okay, we're in California. We have it a little bit better. I have to keep reminding myself. And today I'm just drinking my morning coffee. I didn't even put alcohol in it. I wish I would have, but I did not. Because of what we're going to be talking about. I should already be prepared. That's why we have the alcohol. But I didn't today because I don't know. But my mug says, I'm not here to impress you, but I probably will anyways.
That's so cute. Aw, I love that. Well, I am Bree or Brianne Burry, and I'm a licensed clinician therapist up in British Columbia, Canada, in Vancouver. And I am drinking just Starbucks this morning because I ran out of my cream out of my fridge. So I needed to go make sure that I had the proper amount of cream in my coffee. So I'm just drinking Starbucks. And just to warn you guys, I haven't had a chance to take my dog out this morning, so if she gets a little sassy in the background, just bear with me.
Ignore it.
Yeah,
She's not
so
hurting her dog. Her dog is
yeah.
stir crazy. Yes.
So as we continue to navigate the nonsense in the world, primarily what's happening in the United States, um, we're gonna really it's gonna really hit home today with what we talk about making sense of toxic nonsense. Because this quote that your lovely president, not so lovely president, posted the other day, which I have a friend back east who's really good friends with my friend out here. She lives in the Toronto area and is works for our liberal government, basically. Like she knows her politics inside and out and backwards. And she sends us a message and she says, "How is this man alive?" Now, as of the other day, Donald J. Trump posted on Twitter and his
Wait,
social.
before you go on. And I think in case somebody doesn't follow the news at all, they live in a different country, not really aware of it. There were massive floods in Texas
Yes,
over the
massive.
4th of July weekend that wiped out Camp Mystic. It's a conservative Christian girls camp that has generation upon generation upon generation of Texans and politicians and conservatives and their kids there. It's an all girls camp. It
Yep.
wiped it away. And I think in total there were 27 girls from the camp that died, maybe more, but I know 27.
How many people in total have died?
Like 120 or
Yeah,
something.
something up there more, maybe. Yeah, it's horrific. It's it's so tragic. And it was just like flash flood, like it came out of nowhere.
Well, they sent out warnings,
They
but you have
did.
to sign up for the warnings. And if you
Uh,
didn't sign up, you didn't get the warnings. So if you were there on vacation and not like
yeah. I
regular,
mean, they've had floods before, but not anything to this
one in a
extent.
hundred year, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a massive disaster, catastrophe, heartbreaking. Anyways, so thank you for bringing that to awareness because if you don't know, that has definitely taken over the news. Um, but Trump always has to come out on top because if he's not in the center of attention or not in the primary focal point and the center of attention, he will say the most horrific things.
170.
Yeah, that's what I thought I saw earlier today, but
Yeah, I saw it now. It says 60 minutes ago, 170.
170 people died. Like that's horrific. But as of a few days ago, my friend from back east sends this to my other friend and I out here. Could you all just focus on the very many other more important things to discuss than whether or not I may or may not be on the Epstein files? There was a big flood in Texas, period. Huge flood as it relates to water, period. Okay, thanks, Trump. Really? Uh, Many people died, period. Many beautiful young girls. Ew,
Now,
period.
also this camp, these were 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old. These weren't
I,
teenagers. I
I,
mean,
I,
some were teenagers, but
I
these are,
can't just, again, many other people died other than the girls at the Christian camp. Like, it's just, why is he focusing? Anyways, we'll talk about that in a second.
yeah.
Um, Many beautiful young girls, period. Perhaps some not so beautiful illegal Mexican peoples as well, period. Perhaps drug dealers disguised as day laborers, period. You can never tell, period. They don't speak American, period. American? Oh, for the love of everything holy, and I'm not even religious. That is very suspicious, period. Again, forget about me and the Epstein files. Focus on Mexicans and flooding. How, Jody, how has not somebody of greater power come in and literally put this guy in handcuffs and just take him away? So you
He
didn't.
has all the billionaires, not all of them, billionaires in his pocket because he's given them so many tax breaks, tax cuts, and lists regulations, giving them free reign. So they don't want him removed. So when the people with money don't want him removed, they have more power than the people that don't have money, the 99% of us. Then you have someone like Elon Musk, who I'm loving the fact that they hate each other because we all knew that was coming. But now his big thing is, I'm going to deport Elon Musk. I'm going to take away his citizenship, which honestly he shouldn't have in the first place because he overstayed his H-1B and used it for reasons other than what he was supposed to. So the same reason they're supposedly deporting everybody else is he should be deported too.
And
However,
Rosie O'Donnell or something taking away her citizenship. I heard that one not too long ago.
oh God, Rosie O'Donnell moved to Ireland.
Ireland.
So now he's like, she is no use to any of us and I'm removing her citizenship. You
Yeah,
can't, motherfucker.
you can't. You can't, dumb fuck.
So
Dumb fuck.
Elon, the one good thing about Elon and him fighting is Elon is doing things to try to get rid of all of the people around him, to try to primary the people that are keep letting him vote, do the things he's doing, like in Congress. So anybody whose term is up that is a flying monkey, Elon Musk says he's going to primary them, which is he's going to put someone up and support someone and fund someone to battle them to get them out of office. So he's trying, which I mean, I can't stand Elon Musk, but I'm like, yeah, okay, go, good. But they keep talking about legacy media, mainstream media, too liberal and all of that, but they are acquiescing to Trump as well. So what is going on behind the scenes that we don't know, as far as Paramount just gave him 20 million, 60 million, something to settle a lawsuit. And so did ABC initially. And so now he's after Google. And Google, people are saying, why doesn't Google fight this? Well, the thing is, to fight it, to go to court and fight it, is an exorbitant amount of money. Now, that money on Trump's end is coming from taxpayers, not Trump. So Google will more likely than not settle, not because they're guilty, but because it costs a lot of money. So Trump has the ability to use all our taxpayer money to also take care of the people that could do something to him, could take him out of office. So why has nobody done it? Because they're replacing all the military people with flying monkeys, all the higher ups with flying monkeys. Because the people in charge of what can be done are flying monkeys, and the people that he's replacing, the people around that don't like it, are just leaving. They're either being pushed out, being literally kicked out, or they're leaving. So it is being replaced, everything's being replaced by his regime. So it's going to take something. I know Iran put a fatwa on him.
Hmm.
Sorry, but you know what that is.
Why don't you tell our viewers what that is?
Basically a bounty on
Mhm.
his head. But I will give you the actual literal meaning
Mhm.
is a fatwa is a religious ruling or opinion issued by an Islamic scholar or mufti. It is usually in response to a question posed by a Muslim concerning Islamic law or doctrine and is not legally binding. The word fatwa comes from the Arabic roof FTY, I don't know what that means, which means to decide or give an opinion. Um, Now the fatwa, when they issue a fatwa like that, it's usually a bounty. It's usually like Salman Rushdie. Do you remember Salman Rushdie? They put a fatwa on him, and so he had to go into hiding. And um, in the context of recent events concerning Donald Trump, the term fatwa has been used by Iranian clerics to issue pronouncements against him, interpreted by some as calls for his assassination.
Hmm.
So, like Salman Rushdie, it took years, but somebody actually did attack him. He lost an eye. But so
I
there's
can't I can't see Trump being in office for 4 years. This guy's going to be out before the end of the year. There's just no way. There's something I feel in my bones. Something's going to happen where it's just like the entire country is going to fall to shit and you're going to be in a civil war and you're going to have
you
just
know,
so.
it's not that I want a civil war. I'm not saying that, but I think I would love for California to secede. California, Oregon, Washington, and whatever blue states on the other side of the country that want to come. But California is the fourth largest economy in the world. We are the ones that support the entire United States, the red states.
I know.
If we
That's what
could leave, the United States would be done. Would be done. But let's look at, I do want to talk about, let's break down that.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say, why don't we reflect back on what we see and what actually is happening in that message? The blatant, inappropriate, pedophilic fucking quote about young girls.
Now, I can see people going, there's nothing wrong with that. They were beautiful young girls. And a way you can put it in context of Donald Trump, 34 count felon, adjudicated sexual offender who has said inappropriate things about his daughter, that he
I
would
know that's what I'm
date her, that
saying.
she's hot. Yeah.
Again, it's showing his level of gross, disgusting, paraphilic shit coming out of his mouth.
Because we know that he doesn't mean like if you or I said they were such beautiful little girls. We don't mean that.
But 170 people have died. He is focusing just on the beautiful girls dying,
Yeah.
not anybody else.
But
Just
he could have said beautiful souls, might have been a little better.
right.
But it's just the ickiness of him, and
Yeah,
you
well,
know that the
I've
emphasis
seen
is
it.
on beautiful girls, beautiful young girls.
Yeah,
That right there, it's not on, it's grotesque.
it's beyond grotesque, and you know exactly what he means by that.
Yes.
People can try to twist it and deflect and say that's not what you mean, but you know the reality of the quote and what he's saying. We all know what that like. It's so morbidly. Could you imagine if Joe Biden had said that?
We wouldn't be hearing the end of it. How disgusting, pedophile. They already call him a pedophile
I
because
already called him a pedophile, but yet Trump is actually
he told a 10-year-old girl he will date
date
her.
her when she's old
And
enough. I know.
thank God he said when she's old enough. But my God, you're looking at a 10-year-old going, ooh, you're gonna be hot.
He's
Already
sexualizing
see
a
it.
10,
Yeah.
objectifying and sexualizing a 10-year-old. That is pedophilic. Like he's like it's disgusting. Anyways, there's that. Then what else?
The but there's also Mexicans illegal. So that part is okay. We're okay
That's
that the
okay.
flood took them
Or,
away.
like the illegal Mexicans or the immigrants that are not so beautiful.
Do you know that Mexico, their firefighters came from Mexico without being called, without being asked, because they were on the border, and they just started working, started rescuing and helping and being there before our own country. Christy
Oh.
Nome, I think, took 48 hours.
Mhm.
And these Mexican, literally from Mexico, they're not Mexican American, they're not immigrants, they're not illegal, undocumented. They came from Mexico and said, fuck all of this. You
Yeah.
guys need our help. We don't care that you hate us. We're going to
Yeah,
help
I
you.
know. I know. It's disgusting. How about the fact that he had to say a flood is related to water? Again, think about how unbelievably stupid and ignorant and how much of a buffoon he sounds like. It's a flood being related to water. Like, thanks, Captain Obvious. Really?
Yeah, and what else would it be related to?
That is, or like, again, I just, mm.
I'm so disgusted, him saying basically it is okay if illegals and undocumented are killed.
Oh, and potential drug dealers,
Oh, yeah.
posing as laborers.
Because that's what they
The flood took them out, but just the Christian, beautiful little girls were so sad.
Yeah, they didn't even mention any of the other people. Like 170 lives lost. And I'm sorry, all of that. I don't care if they're MAGA Trump supporters, they got what they deserve because they voted for this over and over and over again in Texas. You still don't wish
It's
them
human
dead.
lives
Still don't.
lost.
Yeah.
This is tragedy and human lives lost. Who gives a shit about your political? If you're allowed to vote for whoever you want. Yeah, people who voted for Trump, we don't really understand, but it doesn't mean you deserve to die. Like that's just so morbid. But again, he doesn't focus on the whole of the human population. It's about the potential beautiful little objects that he could objectify one day that lost their lives, or the ones that he doesn't want in his country, but that's okay, just to deflect the Epstein files.
And then when people asked him, because when California was on fire, he was blaming Newsom, Bass, California not raking their
Mm.
fucking forests and the water issue and everything, pointing fingers before the fires were even out. Now in Texas, there was so many things done wrong. There were so many things ignored. They had been working on and trying to get a system, and it was denied, a flood warning system. It was denied because it cost too much. It got too much pushback, on and on and on. And Trump, instead of, he's saying this is not the time for finger pointing. Everybody's saying this is not the time for finger pointing. Everybody did a great job. These things happened. It's too bad. It's like, oh, it's a red state. It's a red state. So we will not look at. And then did you hear what Abbott, the governor, was saying?
No, I missed that.
He was comparing it to football. Let's see. Let me find his little stupid little speech. Because he got a lot of flack for it. Let me see if I can find it. He used a football analogy. Oh, great. Use your words. Says, who's to blame? He asked who's to blame for the flood. When things go wrong, we're a football city, we're a football state. We have football at every level, high school, college, pro football. Everybody in this state loves football. So I'm going to use a football analogy. And when one team loses in football and that team just sits there and points fingers at what went wrong, they're losers. And the winning team just keeps going out there and doing what they're doing, and they don't question it, and they don't call each other losers. And it's like, okay, no, motherfucker. The winning team analyzes what they've been doing to win and what they've done that isn't conducive to winning and changes that. The losing team analyzes to see what they can do better. So neither team rests on their laurels and doesn't ask questions. And if you ask questions like, why did this happen? You're a loser.
You know what makes me laugh is that these people in these political high up political positions are so fucking uneducated that they can't even use an analogy correctly in context to what they're trying to sound smart, but they're not. I'm actually reading a book right now as to why women love psychopaths. It's very good.
Oh,
It's really good. And it talks about the type of speech. Hang on, I gotta remember in the context of what they were talking about in linguistics. I think Sam Valkin, who is a, a European psychologist, yeah, who actually was diagnosed with NPD, and he talks about language and how it's being used, and it's a weapon, right? Abstract language. Thank you. So they're trying to use abstract language to sound intelligent, but with a narcissist or people that are high on the personality disordered spectrum will use this language in the wrong context. They don't actually understand what it means. They don't understand the words. They don't understand. So again, they're using language and words that they don't really truly know the meaning of, and they're using it in the wrong context. And so this would be a perfect example of a person who is doing just that. He's trying to sound intelligent, but sounding like a dumb fuck instead, because you are a dumb fuck. And Trump is a dumb fuck. I mean, I think the best running joke, or it came out when he was in his first presidency with Kim Jong-un, which is the Korean dictator, and then Trump and his ridiculous fucking hair. So Kim Jong-un, and that's his actual name, and then Trump, one dumb fuck. It's just
um,
anyways.
it's funny though. It's interesting because the inmates, we had some inmates, and it was mental illness, neologians, and they would use word salad. Like we had an inmate. It was so funny when you just get him talking. He'd sit in meetings and he would come up with all of this gobbledygook nonsense using like habeas corpus at the wrong time and using, I can't even remember, just using these big words that did not fit, that did not match, that just strung together in a sentence that he literally believed was
That,
his argument. So it reminds me of some of how the inmates in our severely
yeah, sorry.
enhanced outpatient program, oh my God, I drew a blank, acted. He is not, and I don't care, MAGA supporters, he is not cognitively all there by
No.
any means at all whatsoever. He started out not really all there, and now he is impaired so poorly. He wrote this on July 11th. On my way back from Texas and I am on my way back from Texas and watched in disbelief as thugs were violently throwing rocks and bricks at ICE officers while they were moving down a roadway in their cars and or official vehicle. Tremendous damage was done to these brand new vehicles. I know for a fact that these officers are having a hard time with allowing this to happen, in that it shows such a disrespect for law and order. Therefore, I am directing Homeland Security Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, and Borders Czar Tom Homan to instruct all ICE, Homeland Security, or any other law enforcement officer is on the receiving end of thrown bricks or rocks or any other form of assault to stop their car and arrest these slime balls using whatever it means is necessary to do so. I'm giving total authorization for ICE to protect itself just like they protect the public. I never want to see a car carrying a law enforcement officer attacked again. Authorization immediately granted for arrest and incarceration. Thank you for your attention to this matter. He signs everything. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Like these are work emails that he's sending out. The thing is, when you read something like that, when you hear it, you imagine just riots, right? And that's not what's happening at all.
No.
And they're not getting, maybe they're getting some rocks thrown at them, but it's mainly people trying to block the streets, to block them out and all of that. But the way he makes it sound, and what happens is people read this on the right that are MAGA flying monkeys. And so
Yeah, I know.
they now are all charged up, fired up because of these probably imaginary protests too, because it's in Texas.
Oh, of course.
And again, he can't talk about, I'm coming back from Texas. It is so sad. We feel for these people. No, it's about ICE and Homeland Security and these slime balls Why is ICE even in Texas right now? We have
It's awful.
a disaster, a natural disaster. People are grieving, people are searching, people are, I'm going to send ICE out to get in and arrest anyone that has brown skin.
Yeah, that's you want to talk about the racial. So that's the next point in that quote. I mean, so the misogyny, the paraphilic quote about the girls, and then you've got the blatant racism. Like it just is so unbelievably so much wrong with that one thing, that one post.
And then he puts himself on the White House and the Instagram as Superman. Did you see the AI generated version of him as Superman?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna have to put it in here, but because I don't have it paired to my
Oh,
computer right now. Let me see if I can hold it up.
oh wow, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, him as
Right.
Superman. And it says the symbol of hope, truth, justice, the American way, Superman Trump. Here's the thing to remember, people. This is the leader of the used to be free world.
Mm.
This is the person that's supposed to be the head of and represent the United States with decorum. And what is it? What is that? What is that TikTok? Very demure.
Mhm.
He is the opposite.
Mhm.
He is embarrassing. So, and then you have him writing on True Social and then on his POTUS account where anybody can see on Instagram, the verbiage that he's using
I know.
is so thoroughly disgusting.
Could you imagine any other leader around the world speaking that way
You
and allowing to stay in the position that they're in, that nobody just comes in and takes them out? Like I just can't believe that there's nobody that has the ability to just say you aren't allowed to be in the position you're in, talking like this,
know,
doing.
and he does it in front of other leaders, like telling the leader of Liberia that he speaks English very well.
Oh my God, again, so fucking embarrassing. Like the guy is so fucking uneducated and he's laughed at, or everybody laughs at this guy and he has no idea he's being laughed at. Like he is so delusional. It,
They post on the White House, ICE raids marijuana farm filled with illegal aliens. Crying Jimmy. And he put it in what is it, SpongeBob fonts, the up and down letters. They're just strawberry pickers. Then he says, that ain't produce, Holmes, that's product. What the fuck? And someone said, how many MS-13 gang members are waking up at 3 a.m. to pick strawberries? Oh yeah, zero.
but you know what makes me I'm not laugh, but question. And I had a friend say this to me years ago because I mean, I would travel down to the States all the time. I'd be going to Utah with my business that I had. And, you know, you get the level of patriotism, right? Americans are very patriotic, and as many people are in their country, but and the land of the free and the brave and the home of the brave. Here's the deal. You are the least free country in the world due to your lack of medical care. It's so fucking corrupt, and your continued gun advocacy,
Yeah.
and yet you're preaching at the top of your lungs that you're free. You're not fucking free.
Okay. No,
There's no freedom here. I don't have to lock my doors when I go out. I don't fear walking home from my friend's house at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's a few blocks away or whatever. I live in a fairly safe neighborhood or whatever, and that somebody's gonna fucking pull a gun on me or a night like no. I don't live in fear. You are not fucking free. You live in
no.
fear.
Yeah. And now it's even worse.
Well, it is worse.
Even
But my
worse.
point is,
Yeah.
like the land of the free, you think you are free? Go to every other country around the world that has common fucking sense when it comes to laws and regulations and social conform that keeps people safe. The US doesn't do that. People are bankrupt because they have medical issues
Well,
because they don't have insurance.
I when Biden was president, and you may hate him, you may say he hasn't done good things, but when Biden was president, he tried
I have
so
no issue with
many
them.
times to get rid of student loans, and the
Mhm.
Republicans fought it every single time. So people were blaming him.
I know. But Obama and Obamacare and he didn't do anything. It's like, well, you're trying to pull a country out of the US, like what do you call it, the Bush administration. And then secondly, again, there's more power in the money in the guns and then the the insurance companies than the US government can ever change. They
A lot
have no
of
power to
insurance,
change
and
it.
insurance is horrible. We have car insurance that you're afraid to use because as soon as you use it, your insurance goes up and they cancel you.
Yeah.
Homeowners insurance, as soon
Yeah.
as you use it, they cancel you.
Yeah.
So medical insurance you people use, but a lot of people have copays that are way too high because their premiums are low, so their copay is way too high. So I know people that won't go to the doctor because it costs too much money, even with insurance. Because also insurance, when it comes to car and homeowners, especially, because we have to get fire insurance if you're in a fire area, earthquake insurance if you're in an earthquake area. You have to get flood insurance if you're on top of your already insurance. So stuff like natural disasters like this in Texas and the fires in California, they raise everybody's insurance.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
So
And
people, yeah.
it's ridiculous. And yet people argue and say, well, where you are your taxes or whatever. And I'm like, I would way rather pay more in taxes than fucking have to go to the hospital with my kid's broken arm and pay $40,000. Are you fucking on glue? Like, okay, so you pay a little bit more, but again, because what's the likelihood of that? Do you know how many times I've been to an ER with my kids and then regarding myself? I almost died of appendicitis a couple years ago. And had I not had insurance, there'd be no way I'd ever be able to pay my medical bills. Ever.
I have Kaiser, which here it used to be 30 years ago or whatever. Oh my God, everybody hated it because it was HMO and you had to get referrals and referrals and referrals. Now it has changed a lot. And I had Blue Cross with my son when he was first born, and I
Oh,
didn't know he had allergies. And so I had this really foo-foo pediatrician that you had to go and you have to go to an interview and if she has an opening. And this lady, she's just like, oh, he's got eczema. Here, give him Elidel. And that was it. And then his dad took his insurance and he got Kaiser. And they ran blood tests and found out he's actually allergic to dairy and egg protein and other things. And they did an endoscopy and all of this stuff for like $10. So I know for depending on where you live, Kaisers are different. Some people hate it, some people love it. But like I can do a lot of things. I took my son because he was allergic. I was in and out of the urgent care when he was a baby so many times, and he got pneumonia, and so I was in the ER a few times. The ER though, that one pissed me off because I did not want him admitted because they said we can admit him and then it's going to be free. And I'm like, no, because it was right after my husband died. I'm like, I don't want to be in hospitals. So it was $100. but
yeah.
but
See,
yeah.
it's yeah, I mean, that's a whole other, we're sort
So
of getting
yeah.
off a
But
totally
it's
off
just
topic, but I
Cal
just,
sorry.
yeah,
What
no,
I was going
no.
to say is California, we pay higher taxes, but we also have better infrastructure.
Yeah, well, but that's because you pay taxes. It's the reality, people. Yes, it sucks. Okay. Nobody likes to fucking pay tax. I used to argue with my ex all the time and my in-laws and because they made a substantial amount of money and they were in this higher tax bracket and they fucking hate it. And they're like, well, I shouldn't have to pay more tax because I decided to get an education and go to school. And I'm like, but it's all relative. So to the person that doesn't make as much, they're paying it's equivalent. It's not different. Like, okay, they pay less because they make less, but it's equivalent. How is it? And what makes you so fucking special that you don't have to pay the government? That's just radical acceptance. That's what we have to do in order for a population to survive so they can create the infrastructure. And and services that people can rely on. Healthcare should never be paid for. Like you should never have to fucking go in due to an involuntary and something that's happened to you, whether it's an illness or an accident, and you're possibly bankrupt
Yeah,
because of
you should
it.
never go bankrupt because of your health. But you know what?
No,
You could have someone like Trump who Biden lowered our prescription prices. Trump cut that and then did it himself and touted how he cut all the prescription prices. Dude, you can't raise something that was already there and delete it and then put it back and take credit for it. But
well,
now he's
that's what.
also saying that he's putting a tariff on pharmaceuticals of like 50%.
Mhm.
And
And
people don't understand what that's going to do to prescription prices.
no, they do because again, but nobody understands tariffs. Like it's just a fucking ongoing joke at the end of the day. It's a running joke.
It's
You
the
know,
easiest thing to understand too, though.
if we look at what Trump just wrote on that quote and getting
Yeah.
back to the nonsense of how um, Trump is leading the US into mass destruction and the world for that matter. I mean, literally, he'd be responsible for World War III with what he's recently done in Iran. Um, and it's Iran, not Iran,
Yeah.
which he continues to say. It's Iran. Like, pronounce it properly. Anyway, um, and his constant, like you just look at the narcissism behind and the lack of nonsense in that whole statement. That whole statement is so full of inappropriateness and nonsense. But here's the thing, a narcissist will continue to sound ridiculous to get attention. It's almost like he does this deliberately, I feel, in order to sound so fucking crazy and so off his rocker because it gets him attention.
I think you're right, but not 100%. Because
Well,
I don't
no.
think he wants to sound stupid. He wants the attention, he wants all this, but I think he truly believes he sounds amazing.
Well, that's what a narcissist does. They're
Yeah,
delusional. And it sounds ridiculous, but when he first decided to run for like to presidency years ago,
2015. Yeah.
the whole world laughed and thought, "What the fuck, Donald Trump? Like, what is happening?" And nobody thought he would get in. He sounded far more coherent then than he
Yeah.
does now.
He's
But again,
also losing his shit.
well,
79 years old.
yeah, again, narcissists get worse the older they get.
Uh,
It's so true. But, he sounded more coherent, but he did say, I will deliberately run for the Republican Party because they're the dumbest people on the planet.
Yep.
And he knows it. And
Yep.
it's like he caters to this. I'm gonna sound like a fucking moron like the rest of them, because that's what's gonna
That's
keep
what
me
they
quiet.
understand too.
It's
Yeah.
that's what they understand. And the ignorance and the lack, the uneducated, right? They're totally, oh, he speaks our language.
What was one of the first two sentences in there about Epstein?
Uh, about Epstein, it's like, can we not focus whether or
Oh,
not
okay.
stop wasting your time focusing on whether I am or I am not on the Epstein files? We have bigger things to worry about, like the flood that just happened. That
Okay.
is water.
Now you had asked why nobody is taking him out, why, who can do it or whatever. But this is one of the things that this is one reason, I guess, I don't want to say why, but here gives you an example. This is what he posted. And excuse me, because I am not going to go into True Social because I don't want to be associated with that shit thing at all. So I'm not going to click on, so I have to read it in this little,
Okay.
so I don't
Well,
get the whole page. But he put, what's going on with my boys? And in some cases, gals, GALS. Okay. Boys in quotes and gals in quotes. They are all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who is doing a fantastic job. We are on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world, not in the way he's thinking.
that's just
Um,
it. Mhm.
and selfish people are trying to hurt it, all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, Crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with the Russia, Russia, Russia hoax 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more. They created the Epstein files just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton, Christopher Steele dossier that they used on me, and now my so-called friends are playing right into their hands. Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? If there was anything in there they could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? They haven't even given up on the John F. Kennedy or Martin Luther King Jr. files. Okay? No matter how much success we have had securing the border, deporting criminals, fixing the economy, energy dominance, a safer world where Iran will not have nuclear weapons, it's never enough for some people. We are about to achieve more in 6 months than any other administration has achieved in over 100 years, and we have so much more to do. We are saving our country and making America great again, which will continue to be our complete priority. The left is imploding. Kash Patel and the FBI must be focused on investigating voter fraud, political corruption, Act Blue, the rigged and stolen election of 2020, and arresting thugs and criminals instead of spending month after month looking at nothing but the same old radical left-inspired documents on Jeffrey Epstein. Let Pam Bondi do her job. She's great. The 2020 election was rigged and stolen, and they tried to do the same thing in 2024. That's where she's... Ah, crap, I have to get in there. Okay. That's where she's looking into, that's what she's looking into as AG and much more. 1 year ago, our country was dead. Now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world. Let's keep in that way and not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Well, it's the deflection, right? Here's the thing, Jeffrey Epstein is so grossly corrupt, and Trump is so grossly corrupt. And
If he wants to take attention away from the Epstein files, focus on Texas, focus on the flooding, focus on the hurt of the people, comment on that. And I'm going to say something that's a joke, but be kind. You know, he gets up there and instead of saying our hearts go out to these people, it is tragic, we're going to find out what happened. He gets out there and says, why are you talking about Jeffrey Epstein when we have this here? Like, I'm sorry, we're all talking about Texas as well.
yeah, everybody's talking about Texas. Nobody's talking like, but again, I feel as though he literally, when my friend texts me this stuff all the time, and I'm just like, yeah, another barbaric, insane, what the actual F just came out of this man's mouth. It's shock value. It's what gets everybody talking. It's what gets the news talking. It's what gets it keeps Trump in the hot seat. And this is the biggest thing about a narcissist, folks, is that this is what they do. Negative attention, positive attention, it doesn't matter. They're getting
Relevance.
attention. If we, including ourselves doing this right now, if we really want to shut this fucker down, stop talking about him.
Yeah.
Literally don't draw attention to him. Like people and the news and the focus and the shock and the whatever, the more that you do that, the more it just fuels the fire. You're just throwing gasoline and fucking kerosene on flames. And it just
Narcissists want to be relevant. Yeah, they
they
want to be
do.
relevant. It
They,
doesn't
they,
matter how,
they-
where, or
and
why.
we've talked about it. What's the best way to kill a narcissist? Render them insignificant.
Yeah.
They don't matter. They don't exist.
In
And
response, I'm sorry, but in response to what this what he wrote about that, this person said, "The statement breaks my heart, Mr. President. I have 4 daughters and I live in Texas where families lost little children. I can't even begin to comprehend the flipped narrative that it was so long ago. Why are we still talking about this? And nobody should care. These victims were someone's daughters, sisters, nieces, granddaughters, someone's child. Please reconsider, sir. I voted for everything you're doing. Accountability was not something negotiable." And then this other person said, "We want the elite pedos exposed. You promised us that. Pam promised us that. Cash promised us that. Now it's our fault because we want that promise fulfilled and call Pam out every time she lies. What else has she lied about it?" And then someone else said, "This is going to cost you so many supporters, I being one of them." Now, let's see if that's true. Now, if this is what flips it, I don't know. But because there does come a time where a narcissist gets flipped.
Well, it's when people finally all share the same collective and they
Yeah.
all start like there's no, again, we were talking about in the beginning of this, do we talk about all the flying monkeys and the people that support Trump and why and how, why do they continue to support a person where he's blatantly shown himself more so in so many ways. And a lot in the beginning, it was all the farmers that were like, we didn't think this would happen to us, and now we're losing all of them. I'm like, duh, duh. Really?
But they're
But you
still
and now,
supporting him.
but there's people that are still supporting him because it's serving some sort of purpose. It's either your ego is too fucking big and you can't admit you made a mistake, and so you got to still find reasons to like this guy or support him or whatever, because then you look like an idiot, or there's again, it's serving a purpose for you to some extent. Maybe you are a white supremacist and maybe you are a racist. And again, you share the same values as Trump. But that's a whole level of like psychopathy involved in that when you have that much hate
Yeah.
within your soul for another human being, right? With all this deportation and closing your borders and all this fucking crap and criminal. Trump is a criminal, 34-time convicted felon, yet he's again, it's the most embarrassing example of and the most obvious state of contradictory behavior and hypocrisy that anybody has ever seen. Anybody has ever seen. Yet he's still, again, there's people that are still looking because again, willful blindness. People will see what they want to see, and they will deny what reality is putting right in front of them, no matter what.
And flying monkeys so many times are pick me's, pick me's,
Hmm.
pick me's.
Yeah.
Here's someone that seems to have the admiration of so many people, so I am going to ride their coattails, which in reality, a narcissist is riding other people's coattails. And when they can't ride them anymore, that's when they move on. I am riding your success. I'm riding your stature. I'm riding your looks. And when that doesn't work anymore and they want to go higher,
Hmm.
or they get caught, they go to someone else. But flying monkeys are also the ones that are like Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Trump can give me so many things. Trump is going to do so much for me,
Mhm.
but then that doesn't happen.
Well, because yeah, what's the definition of a flying monkey? Is somebody that supports an abusive person that is blatantly, they know that they're abusive. Again, because they choose to see either what the narcissist's bullshit, like what they're feeding them, and then they believe it because it serves a purpose for that person to
Yeah.
some extent.
And like with Elon Musk, he was getting all of those tax breaks, all of those regulations. He got to gut all the places that were investigating him, take all that away. And so
Yeah.
he got so much out of it. But then once that big beautiful bill came out that cut his EV stuff, well, now you're not benefiting me. Now I see what you're doing to other people because now you're doing it to me.
But this
Flying,
is what,
yeah.
right?
Flying monkeys will get in their target. Flying
They will.
monkeys will get in there.
Yeah, they will. They will. 100% they will. And what's going to need to happen to get Trump out? What's going to need to happen in the US to get Trump out? You're going to need to have a massive civil action come to play where everybody is on the same page and enough people band together to get that guy out.
That's the issue. Enough
Yeah.
people. Because there are so many, and I see videos all the time of Trump supporters that are like, I'm done. Oh, okay, well, let's do something about it. Oh no, I do support that. I don't support that. It's like you either support him or you don't. You can't get all hell bent, oh my God, over one thing if you're
That's
okay
because
with it.
that's
If you're okay
again
with them.
ignorance,
Yeah.
delusion for the greater good of humanity. Do the right thing. You know right from wrong. People know right from wrong, right? There's people's perceptions and perspectives, and then there's reality.
Yeah.
You can't tell me, even though you're a skinhead or you're a white supremacist, that you know your attitude and your perception and your beliefs are okay. You just don't care. It's antisocial behavior. You
Well,
know it's wrong, but you
they
just don't
had
give a
a Republican pack, they had a Republican something. and I don't pay attention to who these people are because I don't give a fuck. But I was watching on, I think it was CNN, and they were showing that this man, some senator or whatever, was like, this is the America that we want. And he showed his family, and it's, all white. And they're throwing out numbers, and Tucker Carlson was doing the same thing. They're throwing out numbers that aren't correct, but they're racist, misogynistic, white supremacists are like, yeah, there are too many undocumented people in here. Now, they said there were 60 million undocumented people in the United States, and that is so not true. That 60 million encompasses migrants that came here and are in the process of getting or have gotten their legal residency.
Mm-hmm.
So they're lumping them in as well, which is the vast majority. So now people are turning, there are people on the right that are turning people in, just
Mm-hmm.
like 100 years ago
Mm-hmm.
in the Holocaust. There are
Mm-hmm.
people that are turning people in. And our fields are now, fruit is rotting, the prices are going to go up. And you've got MAGA saying, all you need is machinery. No, machinery cannot pick the stuff that the immigrants can.
Again, the lack of intelligence here, or you just not even intelligence, common sense. I mean, we're talking about the stupidity. It's and to the rest of the world, it's absolutely insane. But the rest of the world is being affected by this. We're being affected by this. Other countries are being affected by this. Like, yeah, I honestly I can't see Trump being in office for very much longer. I feel like something so massive is going to happen and give. Like I mean, with the more that he perpetuates this absurdity with his speech, his language, the things that he's saying that are so politically incorrect and wrong and he's a leader of a country. Like no other leader around the world would ever get away with this. They just wouldn't. They wouldn't. The people would come in that have more authority and be like, "Yeah, dude, you're out."
They sent, you know what alligator Alcatraz is?
Hmm.
You've heard of alligator Alcatraz? Okay, for those of you who don't know, they built in 6 days or something a detention center in the Florida Everglades that is just trailers, tents, and it's horrible. And they're housing immigrants in there and citizens, because there are some citizens that got rounded up and they don't care. There's citizens in there, and they gave a tour to
Yeah.
now elected officials, and the Democrats came out of there with in shock and disbelief and shaking. This one senator was visibly shaking about how bad the conditions are. The Republicans are saying that the Democrats are fear mongering, that they are cherry picking, and that the conditions are fine. There's nothing wrong. They're actually pretty good. And so it's like, I really truly want to know if these people really believe that, or they're saying that because their Lord and Savior is the one that.
I can't. Other the fucking religious bullshit. I just can't. Like honestly, I'm at the point like there's so much cognitive dissonance. This is where people are getting so confused as to what to believe because everybody is skewing the reality and the truth. And everybody's sitting there going, "Well, is that true? Is that not true? We weren't there. How do we know?"
He has been shown to lie so much, which again, what do narcissists do? 99%, or their entire life is a lie. Their entire life is a lie. But all
Yeah.
they do is lie, 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 lie.
Mhm. But
And
again, lies are becoming, again, actions aren't meeting words. People know this. What's the red like clue? Is like when their actions don't meet the words, watch the actions. It's always the truth. It's as simple as that. It's as fucking simple as that. But again, when people are willfully blind because they don't want to see it, they will find ways not to engage in any of that. And it's due to their own fear. And they're holding on to some ideal that serves a purpose for them until it doesn't serve a purpose for them.
I mean, think about it on a personal level. Being in a toxic relationship, you have this trauma bond. You know you should leave. You know you should. But that scares the shit out of you, the thought of leaving.
So you just ignore. You bury your head in the sand and you ignore all the stuff that's happening
Yeah.
until you can't ignore it anymore.
And that's what's happening with this country. And at what point, honestly, do you decide to leave? When you're in a narcissistic relationship, it's almost like when they say alcoholics hit rock bottom and everybody's rock bottom is different. There comes a point in a narcissistic relationship where you're like, yeah, I have to be done. If I'm
Mhm.
not going to be done right now, I will be dead.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Figuratively,
And
literally.
that's literally what happens.
And so, how this country's going to get out of this, because I'm going to call it a giant trauma bond for a lot of people. Now, there are those that aren't in a trauma bond. There are those that are actually legitimately racist, misogynistic, white supremacists that are just they love this shit. They want a white male dominated America again. Mm-hmm. So they are a whole different category of disgust. But the rest of the people that are like, oh, Trump is my daddy. People have said that. They call him Daddy Trump. Okay. Yeah. So like you see the people all dressed head to toe in MAGA and waving MAGA flags. I think those people are trauma bonded. The vast majority are like, this is not good, I don't think, but you know what? I can't admit I made a mistake.
That's more of it than anything. I really do believe it's more that it's their pride and their ego coming through. But the ones that really are still, again, it's willful blindness. Like they know damn well what's really going on. They just don't care.
As long as it doesn't affect me. And so many have said that. I thought this man.
That's what happened with the farmers in the beginning. And
Yeah.
they were affected right away after the election. And they're like, we didn't think this was going to affect us. And it's like, how the fuck did you not? Hello? Hello?
This woman from Asia, somewhere in Asia, I cannot exactly remember. She is undocumented, but she has been here since she was a child. And she got picked up. And she and her husband and her kids are like, well, we didn't think it was we thought they were just going after bad people. And she had like a robbery or larceny or something like that back when she was like a teenager. And now she's in her 30s. It was 17 years ago or something like that, or 13 years ago. And so she got picked up. But she says she's voted, her husband voted for him. She couldn't vote, but she supports him all the way. And actually, he's doing the right thing. And they are 100% certain she will be vindicated and released because she is not one of the bad ones. And she still supports him.
There's got to be a level of brain trauma there. Like,
She's in a deportation center right now thinking,
or
no,
maybe she's at, well, here's, so I don't know, maybe call me, like, tell me if I'm wrong here, but the psychology behind that is like, if I don't continue to support Trump, I'm never getting out of here. If I start calling him out and I don't praise him and kiss his ass and beg, then he won't have any mercy on me and I'll be stuck in here. But if I praise him and I love him and I support him and I show that I'm in support of him, that's like a fucking, that's Stockholm syndrome.
and there are a bunch. And
Yeah.
the ones that are like that, and then there are the criminals like P. Diddy
Oh fuck, I
that are
can't.
like they just write to Trump
Yeah, I know.
and what do I want to call it? What is the word I'm looking for? Shower him with all the admiration in the world to get a pardon. That's how some of these people got a pardon. They
So
either
that's what she's doing. She's doing that.
donated
She's trying
money,
to get
yeah,
a pardon. Yep. And
but
that's
they
why
don't donated money. They had money and they donated and gave him like $1 million here and there. Their families or whatever gave money because these are rich people. So you are just sitting in a detention center. You're nobody.
Mhm.
And you can shower him with all the praise that you want, but unless you have the green to back it up, he just loves the praise. It doesn't mean he's going to let you go.
Doesn't mean he's gonna, but that's what they're holding on to.
Hmm.
He's going to have mercy for me because I support him. He's going to give me a break. So that's her that's her hope. Like that's how she keeps the hope going, right?
Yeah.
So it's more, and if you look at Stockholm syndrome, that's like the most insane form of a trauma bond because it is like literally you develop feelings for your capture. Somebody that's got you. So she's in that circumstance. She's in that dynamic. She's been captured. She's in, she's isolated and she's not free, right? And in a detention center. So she is literally begging for mercy. So I'm going to agree. I'm going to love you. I'm going to do everything I need to do because then you're not going to continue to harm me or there's no threat or intimate threat to my life. So if you looked at what's her face, Elizabeth Smart, that was abducted years ago by that religious cult fucktard, whatever he was, wackadoodle. And him and his wife abducted her and then, raped her and all of this disgusting shit. She was it's Stockholm syndrome because he showed moments of nice, and this is the intermittent reinforcement.
Hmm.
So kindness, but that is a survival mechanism. When you're with a person that is threatening your life, that you might die, these are dangerous people and they can turn on a dime. You are going to placate to be everything they need you to be in order to survive. And then when you see those pockets of niceness, you somehow get attached to that
More and more and more.
more
Yeah.
and more and more, and then believe that there's goodness there and you're trying to get them to be the good person, but it's to survive.
Hmm. But
So,
that is the mentality of a lot of these people is if I praise him. But again, think about a narcissist. Think about them getting all this stuff. They're not going to give that up.
no, they're not
So once I let you go, I'm not going to hear your worship.
anymore. No, that exactly.
There's
Well, that's
nothing for letting you go. I don't get anything to let you go.
yeah, exactly.
I need you
If
to
the only reason why he would let her go is so that he gains more praise for more people. He did the right thing. He let her go. See, he's a good person. He's a
yeah,
good guy.
yeah. But
Always has to be you got to look at the benefit. How is he going to benefit? And what is the greater level of benefit that he's going to attain, like based on what he chooses to do?
mhm. And there was something I was going to bring up with Pam Bondi and that, and now I cannot remember what it was. But
Okay,
it's
probably getting there anyway.
yeah, but it is we can sadly, like you said, the relevance is what keeps a narcissist going. A narcissist goes absolutely fucking crazy if they're not relevant. I mean, look at what happened when he left office.
Mhm.
To keep himself relevant, he did so much shit just to stay in the news and be relevant.
Yeah, because he can't not be the center of attention.
No,
This is such a grandiose show of histrionic behavior.
he
Look at me, look at me.
the
I
biggest
can't,
cluster
I
B I've ever
need.
seen.
Oh, yeah, he is a cluster B milkshake.
I've ever seen. This is literally, like we said before, a case study of MPD. No, it is a case study of cluster B
A cluster
immensely.
one.
And you're seeing how it gets worse with age.
Yep, it
It
does. It gets
does.
worse with Go back to when Trump first ran for presidency and he didn't use as much word salad. He wasn't so blatantly misogynistic and grossly racist to come out like he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. You know,
He,
there are Latinos for Trump saying, wait, what? There was a
like,
whole bunch of Haitian immigrants that voted for him.
I
And
know.
now that community has lost their protection and he's going to send a bunch back. And he's
Mhm.
not even sending them back. And it is literally, this is another thing that you've got to understand about cluster B, because he's got the ASPD and he's got the NPD. Not so much this is not HPD or BPD. This is the ASPD and NPD
Yeah,
speaking.
yeah,
I am
yes.
going to be as cruel as I can. As I can get away with is how cruel I'm going to be.
Hmm.
Because you will remember me. If I'm just mediocre at something, you're not going to remember me.
Hmm.
But if I'm
I
really bad, yeah.
Yeah, I see Trump more with like again, obviously the classic grandiose NPD, ASPD, and major traits of histrionic. I don't see a ton of borderline there.
Well, yes, because he will push, it's not borderline, not as much, but he will push people away and then
Mhm.
bitch and moan and complain.
Mhm.
They're
Narcissist,
rhinos, they're
yeah.
horrible, there's whatever.
Oh, he splits, devalue, and okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, the
So,
idolization and devalue. But narcissists do that too.
yeah, but he's got a lot of histrionic. He's got the
Tons.
ASPD. He and is top the scale of
Hmm.
NP.
Hmm.
And yes, since they all share the same traits, it's hard to say what comes from
What,
what.
what
But there is
roughly
also
exactly.
the
But yeah,
BPD.
that guy literally has traits of every single one, but mostly the ASPD, NPD, and histrionic. Like it's just fucking, he is.
And but also when you look at BPD, what happens just like narcissistic rage, what happens if somebody turns against him? The devaluing, the whatever, the whole, oh my God, you hate me. Like, here, can't we just move on to something else and forget about this over here? But now I want to talk about this over here. How come you don't want to talk about this over here? I'm going to alienate you, but why are you gone? But it's all tied in. So, yeah, you can see the histrionic big time.
Hmm.
You can see the MPD big time, and you can see the ASPD,
Hmm.
especially now. You couldn't
Hmm.
see it as much in his first term, but you can see it a lot now.
Yeah.
So,
Trump is so obscenely fucked up and messed up. And the fact that he's back where he, yeah, something's got to give. I don't
so
know.
I would love to not talk about him, but
I
since
know.
we talk about toxic nonsense,
Yeah.
this is the most toxic thing
It
that
is
is happening, I think.
world. Yeah, it is. It's crazy.
It's the most toxic and the most nonsensical. And it does affect the whole world. And anytime that things are kind of slowing down, like our stock market is getting better, or then he throws another, I got to be relevant again for something. And so I'm going to charge more tariffs on Mexico
Yep.
and Canada because you're
Yep.
not paying attention to me. You're
Look at
resting
me,
on
look at
your
me, look
laurels.
at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. I need to be the center of attention. Again, why he says these things that provide ample amounts of shock value. Because the world just, I mean, Allie did. She's just like, oh my
Yeah.
God. And I'm like, but this is what we do. We feed into it. He's getting exactly what he wants. The more absurd he sounds, the more attention he gets.
And let me just end on this. Narcissists like to be relevant, right? And this is what is so fucking scary. And what I wish we could stop talking about him, but this is what is scary. The rest of the world is kind of rolling their eyes at him now, to the degree of he had said or done something about the tariffs and the letters going out, and the Asian market was like, whatever, we're not paying attention anymore. And it didn't, like before, he was throwing the world markets into turmoil, and now there's having little effect on it because they're like, yeah, you said August 1st, you said July, you said June, you said April, now you're saying August, and they're rolling their eyes at him and they're not fluctuating like they were.
Mm.
Other places are kind of working around him. And so since they're working around him, what is he going to do? He's going to do something to make sure that you are attached to him in some way, shape, or form. And
Mhm.
right now, since that's not happening, I'm a little concerned. That's either going to be the beginning of the end, which would be wonderful, or he's going to make himself relevant to the world again somehow, more, like in the
Mhm.
beginning. Because in the
Yep.
beginning, oh my God, he's shaking up the world, and we're gonna have 100 deals in 100 days, or 90 deals in 90 days, and everyone's gonna be calling us. And instead, they're getting eye rolls.
Mhm. I know.
So it's either gonna be the mask has come off and everybody knows and no one's listening, and you could do whatever and it's not gonna work, like what happens with a typical narcissist eventually. Or he's going to, because he has all the power that a traditional narcissist usually doesn't.
Mhm.
He's been granted immunity.
I know this is what's so fucking sick. It's why he's doing exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
He can do what he wants.
So there's going to be, I don't think he's going to go out with a whimper.
No,
It's
no.
either like you said, a civil war, an uprising,
Uprising. Yeah,
something.
there's no way something's gonna happen.
So we can't stop talking about this when it comes to toxic nonsense. nonsense. I wish this is the most toxic and nonsensical thing going on. So if you can send us other topics to discuss, that is good. That is great. We would love that.
Love that. Yeah, absolutely.
Questions, comments, like, subscribe, share. We need 20 more subscribers. Yeah, 20 more subscribers. And once we hit 1,000, we can do more things like, I don't know, YouTube gives us more access to do more things, to interact more. So just 20 more. On that note, any final thoughts?
Uh, no. I think I'm tapped out in the final thoughts on that. Yeah, if there's more topics out there, folks, that you want to kind of be for us to chat about, it doesn't always have to be about Trump and the craziness in the world. It's just an easy one, and it seems to be the one where, again, everybody's in shock, right? So it fits our mission statement, which is trying to make sense of toxic nonsense, and it revolves around a lot of distorted and disordered thinking.
I feel like we're trying to unravel a knotted thing of
Mhm.
yarn, a
Yeah,
skein of yarn.
that's a great analogy. Yeah.
And it's going to take a while,
Yeah. But
but
have a good day, everyone, and we will check in with you soon.
take care.
Bye.